Dating in the van is weird, and I'm also not the type of person who just pick somebody up at the bar and take them home if I had a home, or go to their home, or anything like that. I would never really do that. But I've, like, had it where it's just, like hanging, like, dating's weird. Dating's so fucking weird. Oh my god. Like, in the city, when you're, like, a minimalist girl who does most of their mechanical work, who lives in a van and meditates and does yoga most of the time, and, like, doesn't have a Netflix account, doesn't know what, like, TV show you're talking about, like, or Netflix show or whatever you're talking about, like, it's just so weird. And then it's like, let's go hang out in the van, like, want to cuddle in my van, like, when you go on a few dates, and it's just, like, you're standing outside the van, like, for instance, I went on a date, like, a couple weeks ago, and we're outside the climbing gym, and he's just, like, standing there, we're, like, talking outside the van, just, like, still chatting, half an hour goes by, it's -15 out, and he's like, I'm just gonna invite myself into your van. I'm like, okay. And so just, like, laid in the van and chatted outside the climbing gym till, like, 1 o'clock in the morning for, like, 4 hours. And just, like, laid there and chatted. But, like, a lot of people are, like, it's, like, kind of weird. Or, like, you go over to someone's house for a date and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to go home now. My home's on your driveway. Like, I'm going to go home now, a.k.a. get in my van and drive a block away and go to bed. Like, do you mind if I just, like, sleep in your driveway? Is this weird? Do I feel like I'm, like, intruding? Because it's, like, people don't want to be like, okay, well, you should probably go now. And then they're like, well, where are you going? Where are you parking tonight, I guess? Like, I'm like, oh, just a block down. Like, dating is the weirdest thing. And I've been, like, single for a good portion of my fan life.
Is it one of those things, like, especially at this day and age with online dating being so prevalent, where when you go on, like, a Tinder date or something like that, a lot of times if somebody has, like, kids or something like that, it's, like, the weird thing that they don't want to bring up. Is it kind of the same thing for you, or you're, like, you censor the fact that you live in a van?
My Tinder account's straight. I can show you my Tinder account right now. Oh, it's so ridiculous. I'm like, and the more I, like, swipe through people and, like, talk to people, the more I'm like, holy fuck, I'm a weirdo. Like, I'm not your average bear. Like, wow. Like, it's just, like, even going on a date with people, it's like, so what do you do? And they're like, oh, I go to work, my shitty job, and then go home and watch TV. I'm like, like, no. Like, it's just, it's such a weird thing. Like, my Tinder account straight up has a picture of me with my van, and, like, literally says, like, dating is so weird. Yeah. Especially when you're in your mid-30s and you're a minimalist and live in a van, teach yoga and meditate, and you're a vegan, and, like, all this stuff. It's like, and, like, my Tinder account basically says, like, if you're, like, if you hate what you do with your days and you're lazy and you're not very adventurous, like, don't even bother. Like, bangerang for life. like, welcome to the Lost Boyhood. Like, bangerang for life. Let's do it. So it's really hard to, like, find my level of weird. And I travel so much, too, so anytime I've been in a relationship or anything like that, it's been like, they're never stoked about it, they're more like jealous, or I miss you so much, or things like this, or they can't come, or I'm like, I need to find someone who's minimalist hippie like me, but that's financially stable and isn't a dirtbag, like a full-on dirtbag. Like, I'm a dirtbag, but, like, I clean up all right.
You found the balance, yeah.
My face is tattooed, but I clean up all right. No, I'm just joking. Is to find someone who, like, lives in a van or is super stoked about van living. Someone who's, like, a minimalist, and someone who travels as much or more than me. Because, like, when people go to travel, I get so stoked for them, and, like, getting the little messages while they're away or getting a message when they're back. Like, to me, that's super exciting, and I get super excited for people living their life, and I think that's awesome. So to, like, find someone that it's not, like, jealous, or like, I need to be with you, or I want to come, and I'm, or I, like, limit what I'm doing because of the person I'm with not being able to come. Like, that's like, I'm like, I need to find someone who's, like, stoked on van living and travels as much or more than I do.
Do you think that you could convince somebody to come live with you in the van and travel with you in the van? Have you tried this before?
No, I haven't met anybody who's, like, got that. Gets a small space.
Yeah.
And I have, like, my 2 dogs now. So it's like to have someone that close into your space, you have to be like really sure of that person, I think. And have someone who wants to live like that kind of life with you. So I don't know if that's like, I don't know if it's possible yet. I don't know if it exists. I've almost like given up on it.
You need to find somebody that has their own van that can drive along beside
Yeah,
you.
maybe a little bit like bigger for two people. Yeah, like, or have someone else that has a van that we could just like trade and go back and forth. Like, I did date a guy for a little bit a couple years ago who had built a van while we were together. And, like, at night, he'd be like, where are you parked? And we'd come and park, and we'd, like, stay in his van or stay in my van. And we'd, like, park together and stuff like that, which was pretty rad. But
one
like,
van's got the kitchen, one van's got the bedroom?
Pretty much. Like, my bed was bigger, and, like, his van was, like, a smaller. He took, like, an Astro van, Chevy Safari van, and he, like, cut the roof and put a topper on it. So his was, like, really small. So mine was, like, more space and had a proper furnace and things like that. But, like, that's only happened, like, kind of once. And most people who are as, like, kind of, like, hippie, free spirit, wild child, wolf child, like I am, like, she-wolves or whatever, most people who are like that, they don't want to be tied down just because they're always on the go, always moving, always traveling, always adventuring, you know?